Let's get into our Q&A. We got a draft Q&A, and if you want to get on the show, use hashtag draft. What up, William? Who do you think the 49ers will draft at 13?
I think in all that likelihood, you're kind of down to a handful of reasonable names. The big three receivers, Henry Ruggs, Jerry Jeudy, CeeDee Lamb in no particular order.
Yep.
And I did see the report that the Niners wanted a big body presence on the interior of the defensive line. That was viewed as like, oh, Javon Kinlaw. I think Derrick Brown actually might make more sense there as a more typical one technique in that defensive scheme. But I think those five are the names to watch out for San Francisco number 13. And you can't guarantee anything, but I think one of those guys will be there for them.
William, appreciate the question. Let's go to my man Troy Daniels. And remember, use hashtag draft or you can super chat. What is the possibility that Tua slides out of the first round?
I think it's possible. I don't consider it likely at this point. The update, like the rumors around that kind of came very late in the process. Maybe that means they're right. Maybe it doesn't. I kind of lean maybe more toward it's not. I mentioned this a long time ago. These reports were going to come out. There was no way that someone wouldn't try to leak Tua injury concerns, either A, to help him fall to where they're picking, or they don't have to trade up for him. It was just going to happen. That was going to be the reality, true or not, on Tua's medical situation. But he is an ultimate wild card this year, especially in an offseason where the normal medical process is not there. We don't get the same in-depth look that their teams don't that we normally would for players and prospects. So he's a wild card, but I still think no, he goes in round one.
I'll say the only reason why I don't think he slides out of round one, the Miami Dolphins have been linked to him. I don't think they pass on him 3 times. That's my 2 cents. Let's go to LGRW. Who is the Titans' best option for quarterback? What rounds and players?
I guess it depends on, like, obviously which rounds you're searching for there. At the back end of round one, I like Christian Fulton's fit as a potential inside or outside guy. I'd still play him outside. They can play some slot too. I think he might be there in round one. Depending on what type of guy you're looking for in round two, if you want a longer guy or at least a bigger guy, Cameron Dantzler might make some sense in that range. If you're willing to gamble on some medical, maybe a Bryce Hall. But Tennessee's in a weird spot with Logan Ryan being a free agent. He was a nickel guy last year. If you target only a nickel, I will throw out the name Amik Robertson. Absolute fantastic ball skills. He could be a nice, probably day 3 pick for you.
Ball skills. Love it. You know what else I love? These draft hats. Go to chatsports.com/NFL draft hat. For those of you that don't know, every time Tom says ball skills, y'all take a drink if you're over 21. Seriously, though, these deals under $40 for these draft hats, or if you want one of the ones with a curved brim, they're only $34. Finally, the NFL draft got us some hats that we would actually wear out in public. So go to chatsports.com/NFL draft hat. We will have these deals also when we are live for the NFL draft. So make sure you guys are tuned in. Make sure you guys are watching. We'll put it in the comments section. We'll put it in the description as well. Go to chatsports.com/NFL draft hat. I'm getting word that we got a super chat. What up, Brian? Would you trade Prescott for Watson? Yes.
Probably, although I do want to make note for the Cowboys fans out there watching that you're going to have to pay Deshaun Watson more, just so we're clear. But, good. I mean, I'd probably do that,
Deshaun Watson at 40 or Dak Prescott at 33. It's Deshaun Watson.
I am curious to see how Deshaun fares.
Can you say yeah?
Hopkins.
Can you say yeah for me?
I did say yeah.
Okay. I just didn't quite hear you. I mean, when you talk about both those quarterbacks, obviously both are going to get the bag. Both are very, very talented. I think we can all agree that Dak does deserve to get more than Jared Goff. And I will be interested to see how much quarterbacks get like Deshaun Watson and Patrick Mahomes. They're going to just break the internet. Let's go to Kale Shepard. Did I get that right? Who would you compare, would you compare Jalen Hurts to Dak Prescott?
I think that is the high-end comp for Jalen Hurts. That's like the best-case scenario, but that is asking a lot out of any player. The purpose of getting lucky with a Dak Prescott-type guy or Tom Brady, if you want to go for the back, or a Russell Wilson, is that you don't find those guys easily. I mean, those happen once every couple of drafts at most, and between Brady and Wilson, not much of a track record there. So there are some Prescott-like intangibles for Hurts that I like. He's a fantastic leader. He can run with the ball. He's a bit more of a power runner than he's a speed runner. I like the floor for Jalen Hurts. I just don't consider it like a likely or realistic, like, oh yeah, just draft Jalen Hurts. He'll be Dak Prescott. That's asking way too much right now out of him, and it sets up unrealistic expectations.
The NFL comp, you can disagree with me if you want. I think it's Rod Taylor for, Jalen Hurts. So if you disagree with me, hey, you guys can yell at me. You see my IG and Twitter. Let's go to Jeremiah Chaco. Will 5 quarterbacks go in the first round? If Tua goes top 10, yes. If not, I don't think so.
Okay, what are your 5 then, Mitch?
So I got the big 4 in Love, and then I don't know who's going to be the other one, but I think that if Herbert, Tua, and Burrow all go in the top 6, which I think happens, I think there is going to be a team that takes Jordan Love probably a little bit earlier than he should go. And crazy things happen in the draft. I could see another quarterback going.
I don't think so. I think the over-under is probably closer to 3.5 than it is 4.5.
I don't disagree with you there, but
I don't think 5 go.
Okay. Well, guess what? We'll find out because we're going to be live for all 7 rounds of the NFL draft. And because we're going to be live for all 7 rounds, you guys can come out here and hang out with us because unlike some other people out there, won't mention names, they don't stay live for all 7 rounds. They don't do analysis on every pick. Tom and I, we have every single pick. You'll be able to see it here up on screen. We'll talk about them. And Tom knows so many players that it's actually disturbing once we get into like round 7 and Tom's talking about them like he just had dinner with them. So, Tom, tell them why this is your Christmas.
Because I love the NFL draft. I think a lot of you guys too. We got 1,000 people watching right now, and I know not all of you are subscribed. So if you love the NFL and the NFL draft like us here at Chat Sports, hit that big red button, subscribe, and we'll have a fantastic NFL draft weekend together. You guys will be involved in it as well. The chat's going to be bumping. It'll be a good time, I promise you.
It's actually insane watching you do your thing at times once we get into like round 6 and 7. And if you guys want to see Tom get a little like a kid on Christmas morning, that's just another reason to subscribe to the channel. Let's go to a super chat here from JG. What would be the ideal first 3 picks for the Cowboys? Where they stand?
It's a tough one. I don't think Henderson's going to be there. I'm so terrified of them going stupid and taking like a Kenneth Murray that I will gladly take a Kayvon Chasen in round 1. I would love a receiver instead. I could see a scenario where maybe like CeeDee Lamb or Judy is somehow there. That'd be awesome. But I think maybe Chasen makes the most realistic, feasible sense for them in round 1. Then in round 2, you got to find some cornerback help if you don't get a Henderson or a Fulton or a Diggs in round 1. At that point, maybe you're looking at maybe a Jeff Gladney somehow falls. That seems a bit unlikely. Or maybe go with a Damon Arnett or a Jalen Johnson. I would love Antoine Winfield to be there. That'd be a home run pick. And then in round 3, you're probably still looking again at secondary or receiver. So I know I didn't give you exact names, but I think a variety of options makes sense there in round 3. Maybe a Bryce Hall, cornerback out of Virginia, if his medical ends up checking out after that. You could go receiver. I wouldn't mind a Van Jefferson, Devin Duvernay in that range. Maybe an edge guy falls if you don't get Chasen in round 1. There are a lot of routes the Cowboys could go. Just don't take Kenneth Murray in round 1.
JG, Darius Bridges, appreciate both your super chats, even though it looks like you guys didn't ask a question the first time. It's all good, though. It's all love. What's the interest in Yetur Gross-Matos from Penn State?
I think he ends up sneaking into the back end of round 1. He's kind of caught up in that Zack Baun range. He's going to be an edge rusher. I know he played defensive end, but he could be a 3-4 outside linebacker if you need him to play that role. He never quite took the next step you were hoping for. The production never exploded the way you wanted it to. The traits are all there, but the leap didn't happen in his 21-year-old season. Maybe it happens in his rookie year or in his second year. Athletically, you love it. The skill, though, because there are traits, which is kind of more of your speed, and then the skill is how you use that athletic ability, and the length. He's got great length, too. The skills aren't quite there yet, so he might need a little bit more time than you want out of your first-round pick. Had the Bills not traded their first-rounder, I actually love that fit there, where, look, you can give him a year. Or maybe you want to team like the Dolphins, where he plays early in year 1 and continues to develop. So he's a very high upside player. There's a lot of risk there, though.
Let's go to this next super chat from Archangel. So could Derrick Brown drop poop emoji, poop emoji, poop emoji to 11 possibly?
I think it's possible. I think you're going to see somebody slide a little bit in the NFL draft because you got to assume Burrow 1, Young 2, Okuda's off the board early.
Yep.
If the Giants go offensive line at 4, the Dolphins, Chargers could both go quarterback. The Panthers might take Isaiah Simmons then, and then all of a sudden, do the Cardinals go offensive line? Do they take Derrick Brown? The Jags might take him at 9, but if he gets past 9, then I do think Derrick Brown's on the board at number 11, and that could be right within striking range for the Falcons in a possible trade up.
Remember to use #draft, or you can super chat to get on your show. We got a lot of people watching, so Brian, appreciate you. Well, Zack Baun, diluted tests caused him to fall, and would you take him at 51?
Yeah, so if you guys don't know what Brian's referring to, Zack Baun tested, I guess, positive for a diluted sample at the NFL Combine. He claims he drank too much water trying to put on extra weight, which is possible. Whole different issue for Zack Baun is how small and light he is, but we can get to that at a different point. I don't think this is going to impact him very much. I think NFL teams are more inclined to believe him because this does not count and does not put him into the drug testing protocol under the NFL new CBA. So I don't think he slides much further than what he was going to, and I don't think he's there at pick number 51 overall.
Totally agree with you. And I think Zack Baun is a very, very talented player, and I hope it doesn't hurt his draft stock. So who goes to the Broncos at 15th overall? This one's from Joltex. My vote, Henry Ruggs.
I think Ruggs makes sense. They might have to trade up to get him. I think Ruggs would be a great fit. The potential issue for Denver is what if some combination of Jacksonville, the Jets, the Raiders, and the Niners, what if 3 of those teams go receiver? That's very possible. At that point, well, who do they take? Who do they end up going with at 15? Do they go with one of the potentially sliding offensive linemen? Is Henderson on the board? So I really like the fit for Ruggs in Denver, but I think there's a very real possibility he's not there, and then I don't know what they end up doing.